let's be honest, they were so concerned about whether or not they could continue making money on a franchise, they never stopped to think about whether or not they should. That's two in Malcolm quotes in one video. Woo-hoo! Woo! Do confetti here.
Bradley's got the tales we crave, from TikTok trends and basement dweller caves. He'll uncover what those try to hide. Join us down the White Rabbit slide.
Welcome back to Bradlé Macabré. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the bloat of horror. And what I mean by the bloat of horror is, look back to the year 2000. Oh, yeah! 2000 to 2010. Now, there have always been horror franchises. Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, all of them. All franchises, a lot of them get really bad the further down that you go. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these Hollywood PG-13 blockbuster horror films that are mass marketed to everyone in 13 years of age or older. That's what I'm talking about. In those aughts, those years, so many franchises, so much Hollywood, so much commercialism. That's what we're going to get into today. Paranormal Activity, Insidious, The Conjuring even, a little bit later on. Endless spin-offs. The Nun, the Skeleton Key, the Naked Man, I don't even know anymore. There's so many of them. This is how fear, genuine fear for horror films that left you unsettled for days on end, got replaced by formulas.
It's starting to seem a lot more like EA Sports is making these.
EA Sports. Get in the horror film because we spent $187 million to pay Vera Farmiga and whatever. Never mind. It's okay. Horror now, modern horror, very often prioritizes brand recognition and profit over atmosphere, originality, and the actual craft of making a film. That's what this is all about. We are not creating movies. We're not creating horror anymore. Let's talk, number one, about a bombshell of a movie. And please, viewers, some of these movies I like. Still, to this day, don't get me wrong, I was a fan. When Paranormal Activity came out in movie theaters, I was wrapped up in it. It was like we had not ever seen something like that since the original Blair Witch Project. And it was massive. That cult, that viral following that it got is what made it what it is. And what else made it work, though? It was found footage. Like I said, it was something relatively new still at that time. It was real. You know, the cameras weren't perfect Hollywood 4K cameras that we have nowadays. They were camcorder footage, much again like the Blair Witch Project, but it creates realism. It creates tension because you can feel like this is actually happening in your home, in this theater with you right now. And that's why the audience's imagination is what did all of the heavy lifting in that movie. How often did you see an actual physical demon in the Paranormal Activity movie? Literally never. The closest thing that you ever got was objects, people being thrown around, doors slammed, all of that kind of stuff. Some footprints, I think, in flour or whatever it was they left behind was the only real physical evidence there had ever been a creature there. It was the imagination, the idea. Alfred Hitchcock, what's behind the closed door is scarier than when you open it and reveal. The idea is scarier than whatever got shown on camera. Here's where Paranormal Activity went wrong. Again, I told you I like Paranormal Activity. Still, once every other year, I'll go back and watch it. There's too many sequels.
And then they made another, and another, and you loved it, didn't you?
I think they're still making them. Probably direct to streaming, I'm sure, at this point. It's like Tremors. When I found out there was going to be a Tremors 7 and probably an 8 by now, my mind was blown. I'm like, I thought 3, maybe 4 was the last of them, and I love Tremors.
Rest in peace, Bert Gummer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gotcha, buddy. These sequels, they need to over-explain everything. In short, right, it's the Frieza effect that we talked to, Dragon Ball Z. Frieza came and he was the biggest, most powerful BA in the whole world, and so no one could ever be more powerful. Where does the show go from here? You just have to create an enemy that's more powerful. Horror movies do this in a very similar way, in which in every single sequel, it may not have to be a more powerful monster per se, but what it does have to be is more lore. We have to tell you why this is happening. Very recently, Hell House LLC is a good example of that, of more recent movies, in that it's, the first one was crazy, that low budget, found footage, just like we're talking about here. Now they're on movie number 4, going into 5, and we're learning so much about these characters that really we never need an explanation for. These jump scares in these movies, in Paranormal Activity, they can be very effective. I don't have a problem with jump scares. I have a problem with relying only on jump scares. You have these timeline gymnastics as you go through some of the sequels. You have to retcon information because you couldn't possibly have a person on staff that can't write a script or a story that doesn't have to contradict what you said earlier in the story. And so you have this fear of the unknown. This could be happening in my house. It could be happening in this theater. You have that, and it has been replaced by algebra, by statistics, by a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet in these companies, in these production companies, with these directors that get hired and the actors that get hired. It's a flow chart. It's family trees. It's demon Wikipedia page. It's all of this kind of stuff. Too much. Fear of the unknown has been replaced by this. I'm just one man. My opinion doesn't mean anything. I don't even know why you're watching it, to be honest. Go to some other better YouTube page, So what is the audience? What do critics complain about then when it comes to these Hollywood big budget sequels? Repetitive structure. It's the same formula every single time. Not just amongst the same franchise, to be honest, but all of the franchises kind of start to run together and feel the same after a while because the structure of all of these films is so very similar. Predictable scare timing. You might have a couple of red herrings at some point in the movie, especially earlier on, where it's the cat in the closet, right? Or it's a loud fart from the next room. I don't know.
I'll tell you what the first dead giveaway is. Middle-class white family moves to old creepy house, and long panning shots of them driving to the house for the first 5 minutes of the movie while the credits play.
Preach it. Yeah, this is a church here now, because I dare someone to try to count the number of especially mid-budget horror films in which the first 5 minutes, like Shan said, is a family station wagon or whatever, driving through a long and windy road through the Pine Barrens of where the hell ever. I guarantee it is at least 40% of all horror films. We digress. So, characters, they're dumb. They make the same mistakes every single movie, which kind of does tie in to the repetitive structure thing again, just a little bit. And then each sequel, going back to what I said earlier, is undermining the original's mystery. There are some movies that do really well with sequels, that can be really good franchises. Halloween was a decent example until, it wasn't anymore. Time is a big factor, but you'll never beat that original. I don't care how much you like Terminator 2. It's not as good as Terminator. I don't care how much you like Aliens. The concept wasn't fresh. Alien is better. And this is what we're taking away. These movies, these originals. Really, going back to Paranormal Activity, one more time. Just one more time, real quick. The scariest thing in Paranormal Activity is realizing you've already seen the movie. We're going to move on to another one of those movies that I mentioned earlier that became a really big, successful franchise, and that is James Wan's Insidious. Insidious, another one of those movies that people could not stop talking about after it came out. And a lot of that is owed, obviously, to James Wan's visual style. Everybody remembers in Insidious the red door, the lipstick demon up in the corner of the room, crouched backwards like a spider. It was crazy at the time, and in seeing it in the theater, people gasped and actually screamed, which is so rare, right? Like in movie theaters. You had this dream logic horror that felt just like otherworldly and uncanny, and you had the really strong first half tension, like that scene you have like the little boy that's like running through the house, and all these things really like gear up the tension in that first half of that movie. Here is, though, the problem once again with the Insidious franchise.
Should have stopped at the first.
I agree. The Conjuring, again, another really good example of that. Insidious, though, specifically really went hard on their over-reliance on lore dumps. A lot of just exposition dumps in these movies. And that's what they did. They turned that fear, that uncanniness of that first movie, of that dream world that they were in, they took all of that fear and they just turned it into exposition. These lore dumps, the exposition dumps, they just get to be too much because you have so much lore at this point that you have to explain. You gotta get there somehow. So you have your spirits and your demons, and they're becoming bureaucratic and categorized, and just it never seems as threatening.
Tell him Michael Myers' motive.
He just likes to be killing. He's hate. He's evil incarnate.
He was just the shape. He was just darkness. That's all you needed to know.
Then they put his ass in a wood chipper. Spoilers, if you haven't seen the most recent one, it's only been out for 3 years now. Get a life. Oh, wait, I'm the one that doesn't have a life. That's how I saw the movie. You do have a life. You're probably dating. You just don't feel afraid of those ghosts anymore. The demons, very much like Supernatural. If any Supernatural fans out there, once demons aren't scary anymore, what do? You move on to the next one, right? And you move on to the next one. Except for at some point, no enemy, no villain seems scary because it just keeps moving on. The further we go in, the safer it feels. It doesn't feel like a scary, dangerous movie anymore. You feel like some of our key characters can't go anywhere. It's all of these same recycled scares that we had before. You got a formula, right? You got to stick to it. It made money last time. Damn it, it's going to make money this time. Vern, and then they got a big cigar kicked back with their feet up, and fat cats in a smoky room. The characters cease to become characters. In these movies, they literally just exist to explain the rules and what's happening in the movie. You don't ever really feel scared for them, and it just supernatural horror at the end of the day becomes a weird version of The Office. It's like a supernatural workplace drama.
But you're gonna go see it. It's the next AAA title in terms of video games. You're gonna buy that FIFA, that next Call of Duty.
Do I still go to the theater and see them sometimes? Or if they come straight to streaming, do I check it out? Yeah. I'm just like you, man. I'm a human being, Shannon. You know why I do this show anymore. So, again, what does everybody else say? I'm just Brad. What's everybody else say? Critics, no emotional stakes. And that's exactly what I was saying before. You stop caring. You don't care about those characters. That demystification, taking away all of that mystery from the story and the lore, with all of this added stuff, it just kills the fear, the original unknown. And your villains get put as bobbleheads on blankets, on toys. They become mascots for a franchise, not nightmares. I'm going to use one quick, real good example, Terrifier. You see Art the Clown everywhere, and this is a movie I'm going to estimate that probably about 40 to 50% of actual horror fans have seen. I don't want to be that guy, but that's the way it is.
Not gonna lie, I kind of wish the kid from the Babadook died. He was pretty damn annoying.
Oh God, that kid. I can't even watch that movie. I cannot watch the Babadook. I'm sorry, I know it's all about whatever. I can't, that kid's so annoying. Modern horror, just as a cash grab. That's what we're talking about today, isn't it? First of all, what rating is that going to be? Because it's got to be PG-13. I guarantee it. And if it is rated R, it's going to be a soft rated R, just to get those kids in there, to have their parents bring them in and say, yeah, he can see the movie. You have the loud just cacophonous jump scare sound stings instead of tension. You have these like discordant violins playing in the background. You get one big scare every 7 minutes, right? So we got a jump scare or we have a fake jump scare. It just...
You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well,
you got to have it, but it's a formula, right? It has to be every so often. You got to have a jump scare. Your trailer moments for the movie are written before the movie comes out. They're like, put these 5 things in the trailer, and then if they make it into the movie, they make it into the movie, but if not, whatever, screw it. You get them as a DVD extra. You wouldn't download a car, would you? It all just feels like it's hollow. You have made a product, you put it on that plastic lunchbox, you put it in front of test screens, all of these kinds of things to make sure that it's hitting at all the right moments. You make it available for TikTok, short little bursts, right? Nobody has an attention span anymore. Every single big scare of the movie is in the trailer now. It's like you can just watch the trailer on YouTube and not have to pay the ungodly amount of money to go to the theater at this point, because you know exactly what points in the movie you're going to get scared. Cut it out, guys. A little mystery. And so these big studios never really question why the audiences burn out from it. Ticket sales go down, and once the ticket sales go down enough, it becomes a direct-to-streaming sequel, and once those monies dry up, eventually the franchise ends, right? The viewers feel so manipulated by this.
Spin-offs.
Look
at The Nun.
The Nun and the Nun sequel are 2 awful movies. That is my opinion. It's another podcast I listen to. The guy always says it's okay to like a movie, and that's true. You can like The Nun and its sequel. I don't. The fear becomes predictable. There's no room to breathe. There's no downtime. It's a jump scare every 7 minutes. There's no time to think. You're just moving from one quick scare to the other, and the scares become transactional. Not only do the scares feel transactional, all the scares, you know when they're coming. Let's be honest. They were so concerned about whether or not they could continue making money on a franchise, they never stopped to think about whether or not they should. That's 2 in Malcolm quotes in one video. Woo-hoo! Woo! Do confetti here. What did the older horror do better? It was always atmosphere, right? They didn't have a choice except to rely on atmosphere over just over-explaining everything. They didn't have a budget. They didn't make money. You used the silence as a weapon. You didn't have constant cacophonies of violin strings breaking across the bow. All right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre and A Quiet Place.
Oh, yes, both very good examples. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, famously, also. Yeah, that's a good point, Shannon. God, I fucking hate this guy. The silence, it mattered. It made things scarier. Your fear was rooted in anxiety, human anxiety, the social paranoias, the unknown. The Exorcist, it was grounded in realism. People were genuinely afraid. After Blatty's book came out and that movie was made, holy cow, the country went Catholic demon crazy. Halloween, there was so much restraint. When you think about it, Michael Myers is not a scary looking killer. In the later sequels and franchise, maybe a little bit more, yeah.
The Thing, we did an episode on that. Isolation, distrust, paranoia.
I told you the last time. Yeah, it's my name on the show, not yours. Don't ever, I swear to God, if I'm going to call my agent, it'll be in my trailer. Oh, hi, welcome back to Bradlé Macabré. What'd Shannon talk about while I was gone? Cheater. The Thing. Oh, I played a video game. Cool. Rosemary's Baby. Really great example, too, going back what I was talking about before. Psychological horror. Oh, my gosh. Talk about slow burns that I don't hate. Love Rosemary's Baby. Key difference is you got these monsters that weren't over-explained and most of the time not overshown. They used visual effects like that very sparingly. The ending trusted the audience to make their own conclusions. I know Shannon talked about The Thing, but The Thing is such a perfect example of that. It's okay that you don't know. You can go online to these fan forums or to Reddit now or wherever. God, stay away from 4chan. Oh, lordy lord. But wherever you want to go, you can have spirited debates with people who also love horror about what you thought it meant. Not anymore. These franchises are taking away from us the fear of those movies. Oh, the older movies, after the credits were stopped rolling, you were still scared. You drove home and kept checking your back seat. That horror felt personal. Like, you talking to me? Like, personal. You know, it didn't feel like they had a plastic stamp that they stamped onto the movie production company, A24, you two, all right, you guys are doing good work, keep them churning out. We got the Blumhouse everywhere, all over the place. Blumhouse can't get rid of the stuff, can't give it away for free. Where do we go from here, right? Fear itself should not be a franchise. And don't get me wrong, yeah, there's some fun franchises out there that I really love, and that's a fact. We just need to maybe not do so much, or only make a sequel if you think you have a genuinely cool, great new spin to put on the original. Hell, it might not be as good as the original, but man, we think this is a really good spiritual successor to the original. Horror thrives on mystery. You can't ever know what's coming every second of the show. It has to show a little bit of restraint. Stop giving us a jump scare so often. Stop layering on the dread and the black. And oh my God, give me a little bit of light in a horror movie, please. There has to be an element of risk. Are we going to lose something? Are we going to die? Are we going to all lose our lives? Will we make it through the night? You never know. When you over-explain everything and everything is explained, nothing's scary. And if they even try to keep an open-ended ending to the movie, it just seems like forced and clunky and not thought-provoking, but just confusing. Not all modern horror is bad. It's not. Again, I've said it a million times, but these big, bloated franchises hurt the genre, and by the genre, I mean the art of what makes horror. We have enough Avengers movies in the MCU and all of these different kinds of Avatar and these big franchises. We don't need to do that to our horror. I get you have to make money, and I'm fine with that. Please, only put out another movie if you have a new idea. Here's what I need from all of you, though. The viewer. Shannon, do more confetti. More confetti. Go down to the comments. We do want to hear from all of you. Again, this is Bradlé Macabré, and I am Bradlé, but I'm just one man, and I am very, very often wrong. Which horror franchise, tell us, I want to hear from you. Which horror franchise overstayed its welcome? Which one could have gone away after one or two movies? The biggest, most bloated franchise you can think of. What modern horror actually scared you, though? Let's just say in the last 10 years, what horror film in the modern era actually scared you? Go back to those mid-aughts. Did you like Insidious? Did you like Insidious 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or the extended edition available now on Netflix at 18 and a half hours? I'm just kidding. I don't think that's true. Shannon, can you confirm?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and say it does exist.
It exists, yeah. Tell us what modern horror actually scared you. Also, like, subscribe, do the comment thing, hit that little, smash that little bell guy so you know when a new video comes out. And I've done so much crapping on some of these movies that I actually honestly like. Maybe next time we come around to modern horror movies that actually got it right, let me know. Or don't. I don't give a shit. This is YouTube. Do what you want. Marked M for mature. Biatch.
Bradley's got the tales we crave, from TikTok trends and basement dweller caves. He'll uncover what those try to hide. monsters lurking through